Hi guys, how's it going? So in this one, I've got as a new one, an Azur 1/72 scale Bloch MB 210 late edition. Now, as for the company, I've never built any kit model from them before, so I'm not sure what to expect. Hopefully the engineering is really good, everything fits together well, highly detailed, and we have a really nice finished model at the end. The tooling is from 2024, so I'm quite hopeful. This current kit that we've got right now though is from 2025, so it's a reboxing. The aircraft, I know it's quite ugly, but I've always wanted to build one if I'm honest. It's basically in the same basket as the Ferry Gannet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I have been putting this off for a while, buying this model, this aircraft. I was looking at Hella and I kept putting it off. And in the end, I saw this and I thought, let's give it a go. We're going to find out a new brand. Maybe we fall in love with it and I buy Azur kits more often. Maybe it goes really well or really horrible, should I say, and I never buy another kit from them again. Who knows? This one though does come with 3 schemes. So we've got a Romanian, and then we have the other 2 here. We've got this bit designed, so it's made in the Czech Republic. So the concept obviously is in France. Then we've got a kit model number, the front of the box art on the side, and then what we got here, just basically what's inside. And that is that. Now let's open it up. I can hear loose bits, so I'm aware that some parts have come off the sprue. Nice looking sturdy instruction booklet. Some extra kits that you can get. We'll have a better look at that in a couple of minutes as we go along. The sprue parts are all in one bag. The clears, thankfully, have their own separate baggie so they don't get scratched in transit. The loose bits as promised. And then our decals, all in there. Now, as for the loose bits, I will, as we go through the sprues, show them first, and then we'll move on to the sprue frames like we normally do. So let's crack on. Looking at the sprue frames in no particular order, we've got sprue frame B, the bottom and top part of the wings. I was quite pleasantly surprised at how crisp they looked. I like the recessed panel lines, and the detail looked quite nice. Hopeful from the start. There is right at the edge there some minor flash, but nothing that can't be cleaned up, and they will basically get cleaned up when you sand the seams after you put the, well, glued the bottom and top together. But yeah, I really liked them. Wasn't quite happy if we've got a nice big old snap there on the frame, the sprue frame itself. It feels like somebody's been playing football with it, but apart from that, yeah, it's quite nice. As long as the sprue frame parts are okay, then I don't care. I think 99% of people who you know, build kits, they don't exactly put them on the internet today, so it don't really matter. The guns are quite like, they have some nice crisp detail. No like blurriness or smudge, just really well tooled. It is a minor mark on this rear part of the wing where my thumb is, or just underneath my finger. You can see that, but I'll quickly clean up. But everything else looks quite nice. However, you can see the instrument panel is dangling, so I nearly had a fourth sprue part that was part of the rest of them that nearly come off. So I was being very delicate when trying to show you this, guys. This frame also has your two propellers. Now moving on to some bombs, and then there's that very, very loose instrument panel. As some of you guys have been with me for a little while now, for the ones who have anyway, I'm sure you've already guessed that this is my favourite sprue frame, D, due to the fact it has engine details, but I do like the fact we have a little ladder, which I think is quite cute. We've got our landing gears, some wheels, and the parts that go in the interior. But yeah, this is one of my favourites. With this frame, I must admit I had a bit of dread looking at this, because the worry is that I don't line up the top and the bottom parts, you know, with the sides. It kind of reminds me, you know, if you built an old car model kit, the way the older kits were designed were like this. They never had the tooling, correct me if I'm wrong, to do the complete shell of the car, if you're with me on that. So it reminded me of that very much. So I really hope when it comes to construction of this, that these four parts of the fuselage line up. But apart from that, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's the only thing that does concern me a little bit. These are the clears I'm talking about. So the past two unboxings, well, modern kits, Airfix and Edward, I've had some unfortunate luck with the clears. They've not been the best, you know, scratch wise and quality. And these two companies are notorious for being good. So on my part, I've just had some really rotten luck. But with these, I'm pleasantly surprised, because the more I look at them with the light, I can't see any scratches or blemishes. And with this many clear parts, you would expect one or two, but no, they're really, really good. Even with the smaller windows, and you know how small and dense they can be quite a blurred mess. Now they're still going to be blurry, just purely for how they, you know, the denseness. They look still very, very good. Now we'll get the Mocha set and have a look. Like I said, blurriness, but look at them. They're really, really nice. Absolutely, look at that. Really impressed. The main one, beautiful. We'll go over here, try this one. Yeah, again, really, really happy about this. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 with these. Just have a quick double look. No. There's a little bit of flash there, but that doesn't really matter. The flash is on the parts that don't count, which is the most important for me. Look at the bottom. Awesome. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we've got a strong instruction booklet. This will ask you the test of the build anyway, test of time. At the front, as we always do with 99% of kits, you have the history of the aircraft on the front. So beginning with, we've got French. Hit that pause button so you can read in your own time. And right at the bottom, we've got the English. And then we're going to open it up, and we're first met with the sprue frame layout. So we've got A. The good news is with this, I'm going to find out where those loose bits belong. B, C, D and E, and then the clear parts for the F. We have photo etching, printed parts, and then some, but this is quite important, the paints that we require for the kit. I think you're probably only going to need, at the worst, 5 paints for an exterior paint job, 1 or 2 for the interior. And if you're doing the one on the front of the box, you probably need 1 or 2 tops. And then we have the symbols we need to remember as we go along with this build. And then we open it up and construction begins. Let me move over so you can see the step 1. Step 1, we're obviously going to be building the interior, build that up. I really do like the detail though that's coming out already. It's a shame that you might have to seal it off, but maybe we keep the roof like not glued together so you can just pull it off and have a look at all your work inside. Hopefully we can do that. And then we've got step 4 and 3, 5 and 6, building up the cockpit area, you could say. Over here, putting in those nice clears. Hopefully there's a nice ridge so you can glue them. So glue them from the inside and make sure that you do really get them in place, because once you've sealed off the fuselage and they pop through, the chances of you getting them back are going to be quite slim. And I've mentioned before, this has happened to me, and I've had builds completely going the recycling, not recycling bin, but my scrapyard of kits that have gone wrong. And as we go through, doing all those windows, some extra bits going on here with step 10. Follow through. I want to make sure you guys get it all. See, you see what I mean? How the level of detail is really nice. And this kit is really not expensive at all. Really not. Next page. I mean, look at that. You get a lot for your money here. The decals for the instrument panel. And then we're going to seal all that hard work off. But you've got a lot of windows, so you could potentially seal it off and still see some of your work. And then moving down, and we're getting to get the landing gears and all that ready. I do quite, this is one of the bits I do like of the aircraft, is the way the engines and that look. But I think, like I said at the beginning, the nose is my favourite. Let's move over. We're now starting to go for the wings, top and underside. Already the slot there, yeah, slot right there. You've already like highlighted it, which is something at least. As we go across, we're now getting the thing to go in, so we've got the strength for the wings to go on. The gun layout on step 22. Make sure you, hopefully we don't get any fogging with that. And now these go on. Is that an option? No, that's just the top part on step 23. Here we go. 24, we're going to have to say goodbye. Oh, you see, come from the top, under, for the underside of the aircraft. Okay, I guess that makes, So all this detail, so make sure you don't seal it off before putting this bit in. You've definitely got to follow the instructions to a T. You don't want to kind of go off on your own way thinking you know better, because I have a feeling if you did that, then this kit could really, really backfire for yourself, or for me, should I say. Step 20 to 25, the top part. Now we're sealing it off. Like, I want to keep that off, I think, just so I can show it off if it goes really well. Say, look at all this stuff that I've done inside. Moving over to the engine. Nice level of detail. Depending on which scheme you pick is the one you want to build. I'm going to do scheme B, so I have to pay attention to step 30. Moving down, on goes the engine. Right, over to next. It's quite a hefty little book. On go the clears. So hopefully you really like doing masking, because you're going to have a lot to do. Unless you can find some masking for this kit somewhere else. But I quite enjoy it, so I'm not bothered how much they make me do. The aircraft is nearly complete. Now the landing gears are coming together. So they're standing on their own legs. Little bits here and there. Bombs. Just underneath there. Last minute, last touches. And then we move over to the final bit. The spinner propellers going on. Make sure you drill a hole. And there you go. I like that. That's so cool. So the ladder, just go underneath there. Pilots can go and enter from the bottom, or the gunner. Then right at the end, we've got the schemes. Scheme A. See, you only need 3 paints for this, for the basic one. Read that bit if you want. Scheme B, which is more, yeah, that's the one I'm going to do. This is the one I have to pay attention to. 5 paints required. Scheme C is probably the one that you need more paints for than most paints. It's the same here for this bit, just extra for that red, yellow and aluminium. And then right at the back, as I mentioned before, some extra kits you can get, which depending on how well this kit goes, I might come along and do an unboxing for these. And then we have the early and the at war. The one we've just looked is obviously the late. And there we go. Here are those photo etch parts. We don't get many, but it's still nice that they have them in. For the price of the kit again, they didn't have to, but they did. There's not many, so you can't get overwhelmed, I don't think. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. Now, I did leave these in the bag, the printed parts. There's really no point pulling them out. And they're so small, I could potentially lose them if I take them out. I can't be asked to argue with a bag either. Look at them. Let me show. There we go. Nice shot of what you get. And I'll show you these just for the sake of showing you everything that you get with the kit. And finally, if I can pick them up with my fingers, come on. The decals. They look promising. I can't see any grime by using the lathe, no blemishes. They look like they're going to behave and do as they're told when it comes to construction. But I won't know until I've had a go, because some of you probably know how these behave. But like I mentioned at the beginning, I have no experience with Azur kits. So I'm going to find out when it comes to that day. Might get some air bubbles here if you're not careful. But I don't think there's going to be an issue, even looking at them. They look like they're just good quality. Instrument panel. Focus, there we go. They look good, don't they? I mean, even these little ones, they look like they behave. I really hope so anyway. And that's it. Let me just hold this in shot so you guys can have a look at your own time. And there we go. That is the kit. So I hope I've shown you everything that comes with this kit. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.